after perch as well, so they do tend to be, or their feeding patterns will be determined by the light levels. Plus, of course, you've got on the canal in question lots of boats coming through, which means that not only do they churn up the water, which maybe one boat in the winter can actually be a positive thing, but from now through the rest of the summer, when you have boat after boat, it becomes a bit of an issue. Plus, of course, with the locks, you get water flow movement on a regular basis, meaning that you can't present a bait in the way that you would normally be able to do so. Well, you've answered much of the question there. The bait that you use, the rig that you use, the presentation you go for, and of course the venue as well. On that particular canal and on that particular stretch, I know that there are some good perch. Now, of course, I was fishing with maggots, so that means that there's also a chance you'll catch other things as well. You can be very focused. For example, when people fish for carp, they might go for a boilie. That was me this morning talking about fishing, my weekly slot for Bayside Radio in North Wales with Jeff Pearson for his afternoon show. And this is me now walking through a wood on my way to do some fishing itself. I'll tell you what, it's like a lot of things in life, isn't it? Or most things in life, I would say. It's nice to talk about them, but you can't beat doing them. I may have gone down. No, I haven't. I was talking away there. I thought I might have missed my turn. No, here it is. And I'm actually on my first tench session of the year as well. So definitely looking forward to that. I've got my rods over my shoulder there, rucksack behind me, and my chair, net, and tub of brown crumb in my right hand, sweet corn as well. I'll be fishing with today. The weather's improving, it's a beautiful day actually, and the water temperature's rising, so the combination of those two things mean that it's tinker tinker on the menu today. I've been here for 3 hours, I haven't even had a touch. I'm fishing with sweet corn, size 8 hook, on the bottom. Oh, I just had a slight little movement there as I spoke. That could be encouraging. I've got about an hour left, or just less than actually, because I'll be going up to dark. But to bring things into perspective, when I arrived, one other angler on the venue, he was after tench. He'd been here at that stage for 5 hours with 2 rods, and he hadn't even had a bite either. So 10 hours of fishing with, well, 2 rods, 10 hours of fishing brings my 4 hours, which I will do in the end, into perspective there, doesn't it? It is early season, and I was hopeful, and I still am as well, especially as I had that little pluck there, just tiny movement on the rod tip. So we shall see what happens, but as I've said, just to bring everything into balance, the big picture, I knew it would be tough anyway. Early season tenching. It's a beautiful venue though, and if you are going to blank somewhere, well, you might as well do it in a nice place, hadn't you? Not that I'm preempting that, because as I say, I've got some time left on the bank, and as long as your bait's in the water, you've always got a chance. It's worthwhile showing my setup, of course, an Akuma reel, 6 pound Maxima Chameleon. It's a barbel special rod. I find it's great for this type of angling. I've got a 1/2 ounce lead, that's a free running, easy enough to tighten up to that. So I didn't want to go too heavy, but not too light either, so that's perfect. Small bead, a shot, hook length of about 6 to 7 inches. There's the hook that I mentioned earlier, and a single grain of sweet corn. Will I get that fish in the remaining 30 minutes or so to go? We shall see. As well as keeping an eye on the rod tip, of course, I'm also looking for feeding bubbles as well. It's one of the ways that tench give themselves away, isn't it? And on this particular venue, you do see lots and lots of bubbles when they get their heads down. But I've had nothing at all today. It was fairly choppy as far as the wind's concerned when I first got here, but it's now nice and calm. I can see across a substantial area and nothing at all. So I am thinking, especially as I'm into the last few minutes now of the session, that if I do get a fish, it will be a solitary one. Sometimes it's like that, isn't it? You're not fishing for lots of them. You're actually looking for maybe just one fish as a result in that particular session. And I realised that would be the case when I got here. Oh, I'm getting something there. Where was I? I had a little pluck there. This is certainly hopeful. Just casting out again. Just a gentle lob there. Nothing of great distance. Put the rod down. I've got rests there. Tighten up slightly. And who knows? As long as your bait's in the water and all that. It wasn't to be. At least I got my first tench blank out the way anyway, didn't I? I was watching a couple of nocturnal bats at dusk as well. That was a great sight. I do love those. I love bats in general. In fact, I love the British wildlife scene, full stop. Well, I might have blanked today, but there's always tomorrow.